So today,
I was going to introduce myself.
this is
The Kendra and Brian Show.
with the star.
I haven't done that in a long time, but it's my birthday month.
It's your birthday month.
Here on the Kendra and Brian Show, on the Brian and Kendra Show.
I mean,
because my birthday month begins.
On my wife's birthday.
I know. Happy birthday, Carrie Ann, August 25th. But then I get to carry it.
She gets a weekish.
She can have whatever she wants. It's August. She can have August.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she does have me. What else would she want?
Yeah, I bet she's got a list. Anyway, so.
Welcome to
Wow.
That's, it's just me. I'm just saying.
I think
you should watch me walk in. It's like the Tasmanian devil at my house.
We need to start over.
Can you imagine? If you look at my office in my house when I come in. Yeah.
Have seen your
Could you imagine?
office.
Ugh.
Can we talk about offices? So I've been sitting out front,
Yeah.
And I've been doing, because you know what my office looks like as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just saw this look of panic from Nathan, but it's okay. I got it, dude. It's fine. Okay. So my office is usually my office is a wreck. We know this. It might be worse than yours sometimes, most of the time. Okay. So I've been working out front in the middle, and I've been trying so hard to keep my office clean. And yesterday you said that Gary would come in our office, and then the front desk was a mess. And I was like, what? But then it came down to what?
The stuff I left on the desk. As I was coming or going or leaving or something.
That totally cracked me up because I was like, no, I've even, when I go to lunch, I hide my laptop in the front desk drawer. Yeah. I have not allowed myself to put anything in the desk drawers.
Right.
Except for a pen and a little, what are those, Post-it notepad? Mm-hmm. Because for whatever reason, there were no note-taking things on the front desk. And so, I've done a good job of not letting that be my space. Although I'm about to start putting some pictures out. And then whenever you said that, I thought, no, what have I done?
Brian
it wasn't
left his
me.
Coke there, left Kyra's new sign riders there.
Your backpack was in front of the desk yesterday morning when I came in.
I was supposed to go home.
My backpack is under the desk.
I came by and just dropped it thinking, don't want to forget this. And sit there all weekend.
Now if we could just find where I put my mascara in that desk. But anyway, so birthday week. Yes. My husband just delivered.
Mace. Yes.
This is
Happy
fantastic.
birthday.
Okay, so this has been a thing that we do every year. I make this big deal out of my birthday month, and it's so much fun. I stinking love it. I don't really want gifts. I just want cake that I don't have to order or make on my birthday, which is at the end of September. That's why we celebrate beginning now. But coming up, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And last year we did this really fun thing, and we helped to support Lawson Lane's Give Back Gang. I hope I said that right.
Yep,
if not,
right.
I hope they'll forgive me. But we had so much fun. We did a video, and we started collecting Barbie dolls and dinosaurs, my favorite. Yes. Barbies and dinosaurs to put into these awesome backpacks that then Lawson and her family would go and deliver to children that are fighting cancer right now. So I don't know that we're going to do something like that this year, but I'm going to be checking in with Miss Destiny Howard at Bank of Western Oklahoma and asking what we can do to help celebrate my birthday month by pushing some love toward Lawson Lane's Give Back Gang. No, so I wanted to shout that out.
Amber, that's at Larry Hill Studios doing window painting.
Yes. Oh, good. You got my message.
Yes. So I think that's a cool deal.
So I think I read $75. Is that what I read?
$75 to put it on, $25 to take it off.
Well,
genius.
And then if you pay to have her take it off, I think you can also get a discount for the next time that you do some window painting. So she's really giving back with just a little bit of extras, and I love that. So go down to Larry Cahill Art Studio, talk to Amber. Amber, I just forgot her last name. Anderson. Right?
Yes.
And talk to her about how you can support her art, which is in turn supporting Lawson Lane's Give Back Gang. I stinking love the way that this community works. So anyway, be paying attention. We're going to do something. I don't know what yet. I'm going to do part of a bake sale. That is going to be September 9th. So I don't know what I'm going to make. I don't know what house I'm going to burn down whenever I do it, but it's going to be fine. Everything will be fine. So anyway, that is that. Are you ready to talk about the countdown? Do you want to sing that song?
I don't know what song it is.
It's the final countdown.
I knew Nathan would not let me down. right, so we've got a countdown to closing because we had quite a few closings last week. And I don't want to tell this story on myself, but I kind of made a huge mistake on one of our transactions. And oh my gosh.
I was like, what did you mess up?
This is the best part about working for you. For being a redhead, you're pretty easygoing. And you really did not.
I know I'll mistake everybody.
Well, you didn't even yell at me, and I'm so thankful for that. And the sellers didn't yell at me, and I'm so thankful for that. She texted Sunday and said, I hope you've forgiven yourself.
Yeah.
And I thought, not yet, but I'm working on it. So I accidentally told them the wrong date for their closing. And then whenever we realized it, like they had to expedite their moving process by a week. Oh my gosh. Mr. Seller said my wife needed a push. And at the same time, she and I both goes, not this big of one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all that to say, between that and some other situations that I was observing, it reminded me how tense that final week is. And so I wanted to just share a little bit of things that might help somebody to just be prepared to know what to expect. When I'm stressed out, it's generally because I don't know what to expect.
Yes.
Like, I think that's why I don't love change, because you don't really, even with fun, happy change, you don't really know what to expect. And so it makes me antsy and uncomfortable. So I thought, well, let's just help people to know what to expect.
That's right.
Kind of tell you this, expect the unexpected.
Yeah. Something's going to jump
like
out there and
that book
get you.
about, yeah. Oh man, always something jumps out and gets you. Mm-hmm. So to begin with, the final preparation, one, don't wait until the week before. And these sellers didn't wait till the week before. They'd already been getting ready, or else this would have been horrible, but more horrible. But make sure that you, as a seller or buyer, aren't waiting until last minute to be prepared. So sellers need to be packing from the beginning. And
Yes.
we even talk about pre-packing a lot. And so that's a different show, boss. That's a totally different show. Okay, so we talk about that quite a bit. So most of our sellers know they've already got their things in. They've already got some things put into storage. They've got things ready, set to go. You were not on the right page, were you?
No, I wasn't. That's okay.
This show is only as good as how you read the
That's
right documents.
It's okay.
Okay.
Welcome to the party.
All right. So anyway,
Clueless.
so don't wait till the week before
Yes.
closing. But during the week of closing, you're going to be finishing up that final packing, most likely, unless you've hired a packing company that comes in and does that for you. And they can often do it in a day, which just blows my mind.
Holy smokes.
Totally blows my mind. But so you're going to finish up all of your packing and all those kinds of things. But above and beyond the physical part of your move, you might still have some documentation with your lender. You might still have some last minute things flying back and forth with the agents. So examples, sometimes the week before closing, you're still not clear to close. And so you might need to be connecting with your lender to get them more paperwork to make sure that you are going to have clear to close in a timely fashion so that we can close on time. So be in contact with your lender. You might need to be making sure that your insurance, the insurance binder is complete and ready and sent to your lender so that they have all of those things that they need. Inspections, we will want to do a final walkthrough. We strongly, strongly, strongly urge you to do a final walkthrough. We urge this to the extent that we have a transaction with a realtor that's he's out of state even.
Mm-hmm.
And I messaged and said, hey, are you going to meet your buyer for final walkthrough? And if not, can Brian meet them? And I didn't get a response. And so I asked again, hey, do you want me to set up Brian to meet your buyer for final walkthrough? Because I think this is so important.
It is.
I mean, it's our seller, and I still think this is so important.
Because we also, if there's any fires or any miscommunications in the transaction where, they took the refrigerator or they left the refrigerator or something weird, the front door wind blew it off. Like, okay.
Right.
Even if I'm involved in the transaction, I want plenty of time to negotiate all of those hazards prior to closing.
Or emergencies.
Yes.
So the second thing I was thinking about that we saw last week, the buyer went to do their final walkthrough the day before closing, which is our favorite thing. This is what we prefer. And the agent texted and said, oh my gosh, you guys, it's 94 degrees in the house. Can you please get an HVAC guy? Well, it was already 4:30 in the afternoon. So we had to set the HVAC guy up in the morning. Closing was like at 9:00.
Yep.
It was some scary stuff because we want that to be corrected before closing because once you close and fund,
It's your house.
oh man, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Any emergencies are then become the buyers, who is the new owner. And so we want to get all of that handled as quickly as that was cool,
Yes.
wasn't it? As efficiently as possible. So that everyone is happy, content, and comfortable whenever we finish closing.
It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your famous recipe or spending quality time with your family. Other insurance companies may just see it as a house. It's not just a house, it's your home. Hi, I'm State Farm Agent Kevin Kanzler, and I see your home as the time and memories you put into them. I understand what your things really mean to you, and I'm here to help give them the protection they deserve. My office is located on the corner of 13th and Oklahoma in Woodward, or call me at 580-256-2216 for your home insurance today.
OnPoint Land Survey can take care of all your residential, commercial, and industrial survey needs. This family-owned and operated business proudly serves Northwest Oklahoma. These lifelong Northwest Oklahoma residents with over 22 years of experience are ready to serve you with the latest equipment and capable trucks to get your job done. Call OnPoint Land Survey today at 580-256-6757 or stop by 1918 Main Street in Woodward, Oklahoma, or visit their website at onpointlandsurveyok.com. Professional, trusted, local. All right, next. Closing cost.
I mean, that's for example, that final walkthrough is important. Yesterday or a while back, we closed a deal. It was kind of, they were particular buyers. They did a couple of walkthroughs.
Right.
They move in 3 or 4 days later. Their agent messaged me asking questions about defects that were in the inspection report. If they were repaired and what caused them and why they were there. And I'm like, man,
We should have done this before.
these were all in your inspection report and you should definitely review that. And so it comes back to when you do your final review, it's probably not a bad idea to have your home inspection report there first to verify all the things that got done. Mm-hmm. And then.
And that actually your TRR, your repair request is the term that I use generally for buyers and sellers just to simplify things. But if you've negotiated repairs, take that list that you negotiated with you and check them when you're at your walkthrough. 100%. What's on the inspection isn't going to be repaired necessarily unless you specifically agree to that with the seller.
Right.
So, and this is why we're going to talk about inspections later. But that's why we go through the inspection with our buyer, is to make sure they're comfortable with the quality of the property that they're purchasing. So do you do that? Do you take the TRR?
I mean, I have it on my phone.
Yeah, I was going to say, you generally have it in your brain, but.
Yep.
And there was one last week or a couple weeks ago that you texted me and said, send it to me.
Yep. Because I couldn't remember and I couldn't find it.
Well, I think that was even our seller. That wasn't even our buyer. Like you did your own final walkthrough before the final walkthrough.
Yes. Because we don't want any surprises.
No,
it's stressful enough. We don't need any more surprises.
It is.
And I am kind of put the fire that's at hand out first. And sometimes those fires build up.
Sure.
And then it's like, I was going to paint that garage floor. I'll get it. And then night before closing, I'm over there painting that garage floor because I forgot to get it done.
Right.
Yeah, that happens last week.
It didn't happen last week, but still we got done and on time and it was fine. All right. So next, closing costs and financial preparations. It's funny. I don't like that word. I just like prep.
Okay.
So, because that's important for right now. Closing costs and financial prep. I think it's important to remember for buyers that they will probably need to bring money to closing. Our closing companies require a wire transfer or a cashier's check. No cash.
Or personal checks.
No cash or personal checks. That has really, really upset some buyers who were thinking, but I have cash. And they do. Like they have all of the cash somewhere in their home and they're going to bring it to closing. I always laugh when that happens because I'm like, you do what?
Yeah. Wow.
You can't do that. So a cashier's check or a wire transfer is how that has to be. So be prepared for that because sometimes that can be a hassle. As easy it is to do online banking now, this has become more of a challenge. Some banks will not allow you to do a wire transfer from over the phone. You have to walk into the bank, sign their document in order to do a wire transfer.
So much scams going on, which is...
I'm glad they're being careful, but it's killing us.
Yeah, they're catching some stuff, which is good.
All right, so there's that. In addition to that, like one of our closing companies prefers not to even email or text the wire instructions. They want us to come pick them up, or they will fax them. And that's created some issues because a lot of people don't have servicing. What is a fax? I don't know how to use our fax machine. Like, I have to send it 3 or 4 times before it ever works.
It's a good question.
It's the dangest thing.
I finally faxed something yesterday, and I'm not sure it actually faxed.
I'll tell you how you know. You get a printout that says your failure.
Oh, well.
I know. You didn't get the failure printout, did you?
I didn't. Must have ordered.
All right. Also, for sellers, occasionally a seller needs to bring money to closing too.
Yep.
We want you to know that ahead of time, and we try to make sure you know that ahead of time. Every once in a while, we have a bit of a surprise. So for sellers, we do an estimated net sheet. Anytime we have an offer, anytime we do a price change, I tally up what your closing cost will be. If you want me to include your mortgage payoff or any other, if you have windows that are going to be included in your payoff, give those to me, and I'm happy to put those in so you can make sure you know what to be prepared for. What's next?
All right, we already talked about final walkthroughs.
We did?
Yep.
I want to talk more about them, though.
Okay.
I think that the final walkthrough, a lot of times by the time that we get there, we just kind of enjoy the moment, which is awesome because we want to enjoy it. I think that sometimes buyers don't go as slow through the final walkthrough as they need to. And I'm the worst.
It's like, yeah.
But this is like when you really need to go back through, because if something has changed from your home inspection. So you had mentioned they were asking you things about the home inspection once they closed.
Well, they ask about the thing, which is in the home inspection. So they didn't go back and look to check the home inspection if the guy saw it or noted it.
But the opposite is whenever you go in and your home inspection was clear, and then in your final walkthrough, you have water in the basement and the water heater is leaking and the air conditioner has quit working. I think those are the things that you really want to look at whenever you're doing your final walkthrough.
Yep.
Not just the things that you requested and negotiated to be repaired, but things that were working. Make sure they're still working.
Yep. Yeah, you want to make sure your air conditioner's working, flush the toilets, turn on the faucets, make sure there's no water leaks.
Right.
Do a quick walk around the house, make sure there's nothing funky.
Yes. So, all right, what's next?
Reviewing your closing costs, which we kind of talked about that. Your documents, closing documents.
So let's talk about closing documents, though. It gets confusing. So the lender sends you, they call it a CD, closing disclosures. And you get those generally 2 to 3 days before closing, right? I think they're supposed to have them
72 hours.
And sometimes I don't know, it's weird. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know. I think sometimes they send them out before we actually have clear to close. And I think that is why I don't see it until later. But a closing disclosure looks different than the settlement statement that the closing company is going to send to us as well.
Right.
I think the settlement statement might be a simpler fashion. And so that's the one that we get and we're able to review. You'll receive your closing disclosure from your lender. If you don't understand it, push back, ask questions. They're going to want to help you make sure that you understand it.
Right. And then they also have to have their preliminary, they have to disclose on the very preliminary edge all of your fees.
Yes.
And they have to, by law, have to be a certain percentage on or off.
Right.
And so these should be similar to the first numbers you got from the lender day one, comparable.
Usually day one is a little bit higher, and the closing disclosure is like right on.
Yep.
And usually it's a pleasant surprise.
Yep.
Usually.
Yeah, the things that'll change are your insurance. That's the main thing. Yep.
All right. If you have questions about those, though, definitely give us a shout, and we'll see if we can help to explain them to you.
Yep.
Managing emotions and expectations.
That's a big one.
I just thought maybe people could tell us how.
Yeah.
This is the tricky part, because even when it's so stinking exciting, it's tense, right? Like, I don't know how many times I've heard, and actually it's kind of funny. I can't think of the specific example right now, but I remember a buyer saying, "I will never do this again." And me thinking, this was the smoothest transaction that we have had in years. And it kind of cracked me up, because I'm like, dude, that was nothing.
Man.
And so I know it's emotionally taxing.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I think I would just say, just be flexible. Like, it's hard and it is not in my nature. But you got to just kind of roll with the punches, buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
But it's like that whole prepare for the, expect the, what is it?
Expect to prepare for the
Prepare
worst.
for the worst and hope for the best or
Yeah,
something.
that's-
That's what you're doing. I mean, that's really how, this is so negative. That's how we want you to live your
Yes.
life during your transaction.
During your transaction.
But I mean, don't you think?
I do. Yes. I don't know if it's a pessimist, but I'm always, I want to preempt anything that's going to pop up. And so I'm
Without a
looking
doubt.
for it. And I feel like I'm always, okay, I'm expecting the worst. Not really expecting the worst, but I've seen a lot of things. So I'm always checking like those things.
Right.
Like, oh, I've seen this before. I better double check, make sure they,
Yes.
whatever.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. I had something that I wanted, but I don't remember what I was going to pop in there with. Okay. Providing tips for managing stress and staying focused on the bigger picture. Take a nap.
Yes, naps.
I don't know. Get some chocolate.
Yes.
I think ice
Yes.
cream helps.
Yes. Go. Yeah. Go for a walk.
I just think, just understanding and knowing ahead of time, it will be stressful. Even the very best, easiest circumstance ends up with a little bit of tension sometimes.
Yep.
And so just be prepared for that. I think that's a big deal. Being flexible, keeping in communication. I spoke with the seller this week and, I generally text everybody. And this one I actually had to voice call. And he said, and his first question always is, are we still on? Are they still going to close? Are they still happy? Yes, yes, yes. Like, bless his heart. Like, he really is expecting the worst. So when we close,
Yep.
he's going to be thrilled. But one of the things that he kind of mentioned was, well, I haven't heard from you. And I said, well, unfortunately, there's nothing for me to report. We have title work and we have this and we have that. It's just this kind of a hurry up and wait. Like, this whole real estate transaction is hurry up and wait. You hurry up with your documents and then you wait for the next step. Then you hurry up and you get that. And then you wait for the next step. And so sometimes we just are in the wait. We're in the wait right now. We're waiting for funding. So we hurry to get all the closing docs done. And then we wait for the release of the funds. It's always like that. There's
Yep.
always a hurry up and wait. And I think that's the biggest thing that I would want buyers and sellers to remember is just there's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yep.
All right. Things that have just been, it feels like it's been tricky lately.
Yes.
Transfer of utilities.
Oof. We had one in Weatherford, my niece. Talk about transfer utilities. It took her a week to get the utilities on. And then the gas company showed up and shut her gas off
Uh-oh.
because of a venting issue that had been that way for 20 years.
no.
And so then it's hurry up and wait till you can find somebody to come fix it. So utilities are an interesting transfer. I mean, like the city of Woodward,
So,
they have a system in place, which is great. They have a system. We know how to use it,
right.
but you better play ahead on Fridays.
So the city of Woodward is just, they're very cautious that whoever turns on a utility really has some type of ownership or I'm going to use the term ownership, even if it's a lease situation, that they have authority to turn on or
Yep.
turn off transfer any type of utility. So whenever you're purchasing your property, as soon as it, like literally, we tell you, as soon as you finish closing, you drive straight to the city of Woodward offices and you give them a copy of your deed, not your settlement statement. They don't need to know your prices.
Right.
They just need to see a copy of your deed and verify that you are, in fact, the new owner of the property. Then you can turn on your water. So that's something that you can't really do in advance.
Right.
At the end of the week, whenever we're not sure you'll make it to the from the closing company to the city of Woodward, then you can prompt me and I will send them a note and say, hey, they are closing today. They will bring you the deed on Monday. Please don't turn off the water.
Yes.
Kind of a big
Makes a
deal.
long weekend.
It can be a really long weekend. So that's how we handle that. Most of the utility companies are pretty good to allow us to get things transferred ahead of time. And so what we do is we encourage our buyers to call the utility company in advance, or a lot of them are online. That was my saving grace because I don't like making those phone calls. I can go online and change the electric to my name or whatever. I don't know if that works for a brand new service, but it's so helpful. So we encourage our buyers to schedule the transfer for the day of closing to take effect, whatever the day of closing is going to be. I want to beg my sellers, but I ask the sellers, if you don't mind, wait a couple of days after closing and then just call and verify that the service has been transferred to your buyer's name. It's really better to not turn them off. Partly, one, your contract says that your utilities will stay on until the day of closing.
And funding.
Thank you. That's the trickiest part right there. It's not usual, but it happens. That funding happens a day after closing, sometimes a couple of days after closing. You don't want your utilities off. We really need the utilities to stay on until money transfers and possession takes place. So I ask the sellers, keep the utilities on just for a day or two extra. Call, verify that it's been transferred. If not, let me know. You can go ahead and turn them off on the third day. Fine, go ahead. But let me know so that I can prompt the buyer, hey, don't forget that you're about to be without gas, water, electric.
Yep.
That shower is really important.
Yeah. And if you want to clean.
All right. So possession and funding. This gets tricky.
It does.
And so right now we're waiting on funding on a closing. The buyer signed yesterday morning at like 9, 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. The seller's documents were received back in Woodward before noon. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. I don't know if you know this. The wire was sent on Friday. The funds still have not hit the bank of our closing company. So therefore, funds can't be released. Possession cannot be had.
It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. That's just one of those things that you have to just be aware of. It doesn't matter if you sent it. It matters when it's received.
Right.
It's horrible. I hate it for the buyer. I hate it for the seller.
So it's hard
stinking tricky.
Goes back to hard to turn off your utilities.
Right.
Until you officially get money in your hand as a seller. Do not cancel your insurance.
Oh, gosh. Don't cancel your insurance.
Until you have money in hand. They will retro cancel your policy 30 or 45.
Right.
I don't remember what the date is, but they'll go way back 30 days. So if you close today, and because I do this, I forgot to cancel my insurance. They'll just go back, show me a closing statement, and they'll cancel it back to that date.
Sure.
So you don't have to get in a hurry to cancel your insurance. So.
All right. So once that funding is received and once the closing company says we've got funding, checks are ready to be released, then the buyer gets keys or a code or however they're going to be accessing the property. Yep. So that is how that works. I think that this is helpful information. I think that this is a valuable insight into the closing process. I think that these are practical tips. Do you have anything else? Did you think of anything that I forgot to put on your little list?
Nope.
No?
I think the whole thing's, it's just be patient. If you have questions, don't hesitate to call us. I mean, that's what we do. We want to make sure you're communicated with well. And if you got problems, call us, text us, and we'll get back to you.
Absolutely. So this should be on our Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. So you can just put your questions even right there into the comments and we will get those answered. If you hear us on the radio, give me a shout. Text me. Yeah. 580-216-0090.
Or call me, Brian Cook, 580-334-2303. We'll talk to you guys next time.
See you later.